Oh, Mr. Lee. Okay. Let's go. Where's my coffee? Fluffy. 45 seconds. Okay. Let's do this. You want to call the roll, Mr. Clerk?
Certainly, Mr. Chair. Councilmember Gilbert Cedillo,
Present.
Councilmember Nijay Raman,
Here.
Councilmember Marquise Harris Dawson, Councilmember Paul Krikorian, Councilmember John Lee.
Present.
You have a quorum, Mr. Chair.
Awesome. We have, I noticed, very modest agenda, so I think we need about a 10-minute public comment. We have 3 items, and we should be done by 3:30. Okay? How's that sound? Public comment for 10 minutes?
Mr. Chair, would you like me to read the instructions for
Yes.
the public? Yeah, okay. Members of the public who would like to offer a public comment on the items listed on the agenda should call 1-669-254-5252. Again, the number is 669-254-5252 and use meeting ID number 160-871-1866. Again, the meeting ID number is 160-871-1866. And then press pound. Press pound again when prompted for participant ID. Once admitted into the meeting, press star 9 to request to speak. When it is your turn to speak, an automated Zoom voice will ask you to press star 6 to unmute.
Mr. Chair, this is Todd Leon with the City Attorney. I just want to remind the committee that if the committee sets a reasonable time for public comment of 10 minutes, it will have to wait out that 10 minutes if there's not enough callers. But I just wanted to make the committee aware of that. So there's only 5 minutes of public comment speakers, but if you allot 10 minutes, you have to wait that whole 10-minute out.
Thank you for that. Do you have any other recommendations on that, or is that, given we have 3 very modest, almost consent items, we could start with 5 minutes then?
Okay. So should we, Mr. Chair, should we start public comment?
Please, let's do that.
Okay. Caller, please state your name and the items you want to speak on.
My name is Estella Suarez Hamilton. I'd like to speak on general public comment, please. 1 minute, so everyone else
You have
can
1 minute.
time.
Yes, you have 1 minute.
Okay, so this morning I was hung up on while I was waiting in the queue. I called at a reasonable time, and I was hung up on. So now you guys are doing 5 minutes of public comment when you could have included all those homeless measures in this committee meeting so that other people could have talked about it. Disgraceful, and it's very obvious what you're doing. We, the people, demand a redress of the vaccine-proof ordinance. We also demand you guys to step down. You guys are illegitimate at this point. Ha ha ha, laugh, 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 all to yourselves. Have a good day. God bless.
Thank you, caller. Caller, please state your name and the items you want to speak on.
Ghost Puppet! Number 1 fan of CD1. All items and general comment.
You have 3 minutes, sir.
Yes, that's right. And again, I'm glad that John Lee, known as Staffer B, is here. Remember, when you talk to your friends at the Feds, mention that we only get 10 minutes for public comment. That's an overt act to defeat our First Amendment. You think Joe would do something like that? Well, sir, he just did.
Please address the items, sir.
Yes, that's right. Yes, I know you're in a hurry to get to your next campaign meeting. Now, what do we have? A motion co-sponsored by United States of America versus Mark Ridley Thomas. Why is he sponsoring things? I thought you threw him off of the council. Why is any of his items? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And this came from your mommy, Nuri, right? That he should not have anything sponsored because you said he's a criminal. And you dismissed him from the council because you believe the FBI lies. Lies. And again, John Lee, known as Staffer B, fully understands.
Please
that
address
he
the item,
agrees
sir. Sir, please address the item.
Well, if you want Councilman Ridley Thomas back, and Goat Puppet wants the same thing, let's invite the gentleman back. I want a friendly amendment that on that item, Mark Ridley Thomas be.
So, that's all we have for public comment unless we could have them raise their hands. Okay, just a second. Please state your name and the items you want to speak on.
Hey, Gilbert, it's me, Toto. And I'm not from the Wizard of Oz. I want to speak on all items and general public comment. Assholes, please.
You have 3 minutes, sir.
Just the other day, fat mommy cunt Nuri was grandstanding about putting more homes in our communities. It's not gonna make things better. We know that, Gilbert. When you were trying to help me get housing, Gilbert, it never worked through. That fucking Jose Luis Weezer, the boss, fucked it all up for all of us. Now we're all criminals, especially Negro Ridley Uncle
Please
Thomas.
stick to the item, sir.
Okay. I'm sort of drifting off because I'm a white nigger, and I don't understand rules too much because I suffer from what you suffer from, dick-itis. So
Caller,
now that
please
we
address the
understand
items.
that housing.
Thank you. Caller, please state your name and the items you want to speak on.
Next.
That's all we have. That's all we have. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. That's all we have.
Okay, well, let's go forward with item number 1. It's a motion from Martinez Bonin. Do you want to read this, Mr. Clerk? Mr. Clerk, you're on mute. I don't know if you're reading it into the record.
Sorry about that, Mr. Chair. Item number 1 is a motion from Council Members Martinez and Bonin relative to the transfer of the property located at 2949 Edge Hill Drive to the Housing Authority of the City of Los Angeles for the purpose of developing an affordable housing project.
Awesome. That's a consent item. Are any comments or any objections to this item going forward? Yep. Move that forward on consent.
Certainly, sir.
Do you want to move to item number 2?
Certainly, sir. Item number 2 is a motion from Council Members Ridley Thomas and Blumenfield relative to a contract extension between the city and Reach for the Top for the construction of the Casa Amador project, a transitional housing facility for homeless women with children.
Yes, let me note that the Community Investment for Families would like to request an amendment to the motion. And if CIFD is here, can they read that into the motion?
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Jacqueline Mendez, representative from the Community Investment for Families Department. I would like to read into record the friendly amendment to the motion, and it reads, I move that the matter of the consideration of motion Ridley, Thomas, and Blumenfeld for council file number 16-1091-S5 relative to contract number C126691 between the city and Reach for the Top with the assistance of the city attorney be amended to reflect an additional 3-month extension for a new amended contract end date of September 30, 2022 to complete the construction of the transitional housing facility.
Great. If there's no objections, comments, can we move the motion as amended? Call the roll, Mr. Villanueva.
Certainly, sir. Councilmember Gilbert Cedillo,
Cedillo, aye.
Councilmember Nitya Raman,
Yes.
Councilmember John Lee.
Aye.
The item is approved as amended, sir.
Thank you. I think this takes us to item number 3.
Item number 3 is a motion from Council Members Bonin, Rahman, and Harris Dawson relative to an ordinance that requires the replacement obligations and occupant protection provisions of California Government Code Section 66300 to apply to housing development projects that submit a complete application and related matters.
Okay, can we have the, I'm sorry, can we have LHD and the city attorney talk to us? Can ask you to the table, obviously, to talk to us and provide an overview of this proposal.
Sure. My name is Maya Abood at the Los Angeles Housing Department. I can provide some background on the need for this motion and a local ordinance to address SB 8. I'm also joined by my colleague Mei Mei Cheng in the city attorney's office, and we also have city planning on the line as well, who has been working closely with us.
Thank you.
So some background. SB 330, the Housing Crisis Act of 2019, was signed into effect in 2020, and amongst other things, established affordable housing replacement requirements and additional tenant protections for discretionary projects. SB 8 amended SB 330 with the intent of broadening the requirements to include ministerial projects. However, SB 8 unintentionally cited a section of the state code that tied the replacement requirements and tenant protections to a voluntary pre-application process. Senator Nancy Skinner, who authored SB 8 and SB 330, issued a letter to the Legislative Journal on January 6th, clarifying that SB 8 did not intend to limit the applicability of the replacement requirements and tenant protections. And she also indicated that the state will amend the drafting error through a budget trailer bill or the state omnibus bill. However, this state fix will take several months to pass through the legislature. So therefore, in order to ensure consistency and remove any uncertainty about replacement requirements and tenant protections, LAHD, City Planning, LADBS, and the City Attorney's Office are requesting the City Council to enact this stopgap local ordinance that mirrors the affordable housing and replacement requirements of SB 8. This ordinance is intended as an urgent emergency bridge measure to reduce uncertainty and any potential gaps in the regulations and requirements. Due to the urgency of this issue, we are hoping that the motion and the local ordinance can be scheduled and adopted as soon as possible. We also have a couple of amendments to the motion, but I can go over those after if there's questions or discussion.
Please proceed.
Okay.
Any questions? I think we're prepared for you to proceed with the amendments.
Great. So they're very minor amendments to the moving clause. We are asking LAHD to work in consultation with the LA City Planning Department and to include a sunset provision that is consistent with SB 8. So the revised language of the motion, the moving clause is, I therefore move that the Los Angeles Housing Department, in consultation with Los Angeles City Planning with the assistance of City Attorney, be directed to draft and present an ordinance with an urgency clause and sunset provision approved as to form and legality. It goes on and on. Do I need to read the entire thing?
Yes.
Okay. And sunset provision approved as to form and legality that requires the replacement obligations and occupant protection provisions of California Government Code Section 66300 to apply to housing development projects that submit a complete application, file a complete set of building plans for plan check and permit, or receive a project or permit approval on or after January 1st, 2022, in order to, 1, eliminate any gaps in applicability of the replacement obligations and occupant protections, 2, prevent the unintended loss of replacement units and occupant protections, and 3, maintain consistency of the application of replacement obligations and occupant protections. That's it.
Thank you. No objection to the amendments. Are we prepared to move the motion? I move the motion as amended.
Second.
Would you like me to call the roll?
Please.
Mr. Chair, Councilmember Gilbert Cedillo,
Cedillo, aye.
Councilmember Nitya Raman,
Yes.
Councilmember John Lee.
Yes.
The item is approved as amended, sir.
Thank you. Does that clear our
Yeah.
agenda?
Yes, sir. The desk is clear.
Motion to adjourn without objection?
No objections. Wow.
Yes.
320. Councilmember Cedillo.
We all have some obligations and we just trying to be precise and exact. Everybody have a great day. Go give your kids a kiss on the forehead. And this is a great part of our lives. Hi, Ann. Great to see you. Happy New Year.